My name's Casey. I'm here from OCAD University. As Avalon mentioned, I'm also an alumni and a graduate from the university. So I graduated from a program called Criticism and Curatorial Practice, which is our snottiest sounding program. And it was perfect for me because when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to work in the arts and I liked making art, but I never saw myself as an artist or a maker in terms of a career. And so I wasn't sure where I fit. And so when I found this program that still was going to allow me to have the studio-based hands-on approach, but also was going to teach me about museums, working in museums and galleries, managing collections, sort of working behind the scenes in the art industry, a lot more writing, criticism, theory, it was kind of the perfect fit for me. And so I'm a big advocate for yourselves looking at the right university, finding the right program. I really believe there's always ways of combining your interests. And often creative universities give you a lot of that flexibility, but still important to find sort of the right fit of programs. And then when I graduated, I did work as a curator for a number of years. I worked for the Art Gallery of Ontario, which is one of the largest art museums in Canada. I did some independent research projects. I worked independently for artists doing writing. And I started my own organization called ArtSpin, which is monthly curated bicycle-led art tours in downtown Toronto, which I still now sit on the board of directors, and it's grown. There's about 500 people on bikes that come, and we have artists doing performances in parks and alleyways and abandoned buildings all across the city. So I really sort of was able to turn that into my interest in community art practice before I came and got this job. So just a little bit about my story, how I fit into all of this. In terms of OCAD University, this is our crazy looking building in downtown Toronto. So it's a 4-story, you're just seeing the corner of the 4-story red brick building there, which has most of our fine arts studios and shops. And then this crazy looking thing is a 2-story building. It's called the Sharp Center for Design, and that houses most of our design studios and classes. And then those pencil stick legs are actually made out of recycled gas pipelines. So it's a really cool building, and we'll actually be adding more onto it soon. And we're in downtown Toronto. So Toronto is an amazing city, and that's another thing to consider when you're looking at university. We're the largest city in Canada and the 4th largest city in North America. So about 5 million people in the greater Toronto area, but 2 million people in the downtown core. And so lots of working artists and designers, lots of major cultural hubs, museums, galleries, sports teams, lots of connections to global industries. But Toronto is also a real city of neighborhoods, and it's often called the most diverse city in the world. So more than 50% of Torontonians are not from Canada. So it's a city made up of people from all over the world, and the neighborhoods really reflect that. There's like Chinatown and Little Portugal and Little Italy and Koreatown, Greektown, Little India, and the list goes on. All I care about is the tasty food from all those places. But there's also culture and festivals. It's very walkable, it's very safe, so it's an amazing city to work and play and study in. And to add on to some of the things that Avalon mentioned about the benefits of studying in Canada, you definitely want to consider work opportunities, because when you come to Canada on a study permit or a student visa as an international student, it automatically includes a work permit. So in Canada, as soon as you arrive, you're allowed to work on and off campus. So most universities will have lots of on-campus work, but off-campus work means you can get a job at a restaurant to help pay for school, or at a museum or a gallery if you want to work in your field and gain some experience. And that's pretty rare. That's not something that every country will offer to international students. And then when you graduate from a Canadian university, you can turn that you can apply for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So once you're done university, you can stay for up to 3 years, which is meant to give you some time to launch your career, to make some connections. If you did want to become a resident or a citizen, you can start that process. So Canada is trying to make it a little bit easier for international students to come, to stay, to study, to work, to play. So it continues to be a pretty welcoming country in that way.